the end of the school year, and we were in my American literature class. We just handed in a big essay. We thought we were all done for the year. And then our professor assigned us another book. He said we had to read another book before the end of class. So everyone was overwhelmed. We had finals coming up, and summer was coming, but he said, don't worry, kids, this is a good book. It's by Ernest Hemingway. It's called The Sun Also Rises. It's a very different style book, and I really think you're going to enjoy it. And we did. Ernest Hemingway was an American author. He was a very vivacious man. He had this insatiable thirst for adventure. He was a big game hunter, deep sea fisher. He actually dabbled in bullfighting, and he was a world traveler. And his works really reflect his incredible life. He was born in 1899 in a suburb of Chicago to a very conservative family. His father was a physician and his mother was a school teacher. When he was 17, he left his conservative family home to move to Kansas City, where he worked for the Kansas City Star as a reporter. When the World War I started in 1914, he left Kansas and actually worked for the Italian army. He was an ambulance driver. He kind of went into war imagining this great adventure and glory, but he was actually, met with the realities of war, and it was very harsh, and he was kind of disillusioned with life in general. After the war, he came back to America. He got a job as a reporter and was sent overseas to Paris. While he was in Paris, he started writing for the first time, really extensively. He started working on novels. He became acquainted with a group of expatriates, people that had left America, and he became friends with a very elite group of intellectuals, including F. Scott Fitzgerald, Pablo Picasso, Gertrude Stein, James Joyce, Juan Miró, and other great authors and artists. And they really influenced him. He traveled a lot through Europe, and during this time, he wrote his first novel in 1926. The Sun Also Rises was published, which is also semi-autobiographical. It is about a soldier that returned home and was an expatriate, and he just had this theme of disillusionment called The Lost Generation, because they never really got to experience their youth. He continued to write, and he actually got great acclaim. He became quite famous. He moved back to the United States, he spent some time in Cuba, and he just traveled all over the world, continued writing. He spent a lot of time in Africa. He, did spend some time in Cuba, and he just, traveled the world. And as he was traveling, he wrote about his experiences, and, he just had a lot of really great works. He, however, did struggle with depression and alcoholism. Later in life, it became a lot more serious. He tried a bunch of experimental techniques, including electroshock therapy, where he was actually electrocuted into not being depressed, which unfortunately did not work, and he actually took his own life in 1961 in his home. He shot himself. So, this great man unfortunately did kill himself, and it was just a great tragedy. However, he produced a lot of works during his time. The Sun Also Rises, For Whom the Bell Tolls, A Farewell to Arms, and The Old Man and the Sea, which I'm sure most of you guys read in high school. I thought it was totally awful. I know, but now I've actually reread it before doing this, and I see it in a different way, and I really enjoy his works. He is known for his great works. He did win the Pulitzer Prize, or not, excuse me, the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1954, and he's really known for his concise style. He has lots of dialogue, and he just has very different perspective on writing, and it's made him one of the greatest American authors.